The dangerous person in the room is not always the person that thinks they're better than everyone else. Sometimes it's the person that secretly thinks that everything in the room depends on them. The person that walks into every room already scanning who needs what needs fixing, what's about to go wrong, who looks uncomfortable, who needs something. They call it being responsible. They call it being capable. They call it leadership. But sometimes it's a survival pattern dressed in a professional outfit. Because there's a difference between being a strong person and building an identity around never needing anything. Nobody talks about the moment when your greatest strength becomes your greatest burden. The moment when being dependable turns into being depleted. The moment where everyone trusts you, but no one checks on you. You become the person that everyone calls, the person that everyone trusts, the person that everyone assumes that can handle it. And at first, it feels good because being needed feels like being valued. But eventually something changes. You start feeling invisible. You start feeling resentful. You start wondering, why does everyone expect so much out of me? But here's the uncomfortable question. Did they create that expectation? Or did you teach everyone that you would always carry it? Because sometimes the very thing we are exhausted by is the thing that we have trained ourselves to protect. And if you were the person that thinks that if I stop, everything will fall apart, this conversation is for you. Because today we're going to talk about the hidden God complex that no one talks about. Not arrogance, not ego, something much more subtle. It's the belief that you are holding everything together. Let's define what that means. Because when people normally hear God complex, they automatically think of someone that thinks they're above everyone else. And that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the high performer, the leader, the woman who has built an expectation around excellence, the person that has become successful because they have learned how to handle pressure. Maybe you became the reliable one early. Maybe you were the person that matured faster than everyone else. Maybe you learned that being useful got you recognition. Maybe competence became your safety. So you adapted. You became organized, prepared, independent, the one who could figure it out. Those qualities probably helped you. They probably opened doors for you. They probably created success. The problem is, a strategy that helped you survive in one season can very well turn into a prison in the next. Because eventually you stop asking, what do I need? And only ask, what does everyone else need from me? You stop noticing your exhaustion because you become good at overriding your needs. You don't rest. You recover just enough to go back into performance. You don't ask for support. You wait until you are overwhelmed and then wonder why no one noticed. And this is where the Superwoman Trap begins. Not because you think you're better, but because somewhere along the way, you decided that you had to be everything. Here's where this pattern gets expensive. Because being the strong one has consequences. And many high performers don't acknowledge them. They just think, I'm tired, I need a vacation. I need better time management. But sometimes the issue isn't your calendar, it's your identity. Your nervous system has learned that relaxing is risky, that slowing down means something will get missed, that if you aren't monitoring everything, that something will fall apart. So even when your body is sitting still, your mind is working overtime, running scenarios, solving problems that haven't happened, preparing conversations that haven't happened, carrying responsibilities that no one has assigned to you. And then you wonder why peace feels uncomfortable, why quiet feels strange, why doing nothing almost feels irresponsible. Because your body has confused productivity with safety. And that is exhausting. And this impacts relationships too, because sometimes overfunctioning looks like love. You tell yourself, I'm just helping. I'm just making sure everything's okay. I'm just trying to make sure everything is easier. But underneath, sometimes is a harder truth. And that's, I don't trust anyone else to carry this. So instead of creating partnership, you create dependence. You become a manager of everyone else's emotions, everyone's needs, everyone's outcomes. And then you feel lonely because people only know the version of you that performs, not the version that needs, not the version that struggles, not the version that wants to be supported. Because if everyone only sees your strength, they never get access to your humanity. The shift isn't becoming less capable. Let me make that clear. You do not need to shrink. You do not have to lower your standards. You do not have to stop being excellent. The work is separating your identity from your ability to carry. That is the transformation. Because strength without flexibility becomes rigidity. Independence without connection becomes isolation. And responsibility without boundaries becomes resentment. The goal is not, I can do everything. The goal becomes, I can decide what is mine to. That is a different level of power, because maturity is not about proving that you can hold everything. It is knowing what deserves your energy. And that's the from control to capacity. From I have to manage everything to I can participate without controlling. From if I don't do it, no one will, to other people are capable, other people are responsible, and other people will rise. Because sometimes your overfunctioning is not helping other people grow. It is preventing them from growing. The most powerful version of you is not the woman who never needs it. It is the woman who trusts herself enough to receive. So what do you do with this? Start here. Number 1, identify where you feel indispensable. Ask yourself, where do I believe everyone depends on me? Where do I complain about carrying something that I refuse to release? Your answers will show you where the pattern lives. Number 2, practice releasing control in small ways. Not everything needs a dramatic overhaul. Let someone help. Let them do it differently. Let them experience the discomfort without rushing in to help. Let yourself feel the discomfort without rushing in to help. Because growth often feels like, I don't like this yet, but I'm learning. Number 3, change the sentence. When your mind says, if I don't do this, who will? Replace it with, it doesn't all depend on me. Say it again. It does not all depend on me. Not because you're becoming careless, because you are becoming free. Number 4, build a new definition of strength. Strength is not carrying everything. Strength is knowing yourself, your limits, your values, your capacity. The strongest leaders are not the ones that never need help. They are the ones that are secure enough to allow it. So if this conversation resonated with you, I want you to comment the word release. Because sometimes the next level of growth is not becoming stronger. It's putting down what you were never meant to carry forever. Come back in the room as we continue to unpack patterns that look like success, but quietly cost us peace. Until next time, honor your peace, protect your capacity, and give yourself permission to be human.